Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is going to be about Monday Night Raw, what happened after Raw, what happened before Raw, the normal stuff. And to start off the show, rumors are that Matt Bloom, that's A-Train, is going under a character that was supposed to be, it was reported last week that he was going to be John Laurinaitis' bodyguard. Well, been changed. As you've seen, most people have seen on Raw, they had a video footage package, basically saying that the guy's name is Lord Tensei, character portrayed by Matt Bloom, who was previously has wrestled for WWE as Prince Albert or Albert. You know, back when TNA was a tag team, that's Tested Albert, and also wrestled as A-Train. He's been working in New Japan Pro Wrestling as Giant Bernard. Bloom tried to shoot down reports that he was returning to WWE over the weekend, but obviously that was just an attempted smokescreen on his part. I mentioned that last week on the coverage, and tonight they mentioned it. Tensei means genius or prodigy in Japanese. Matthew Bloom, a.k.a. Albert, A-Train, and now the Sensei, or actually Sensei. He's like Japanese martial artist. You know, they call him Sensei. Well, he still denied the reports, but he recently changed that. He said, "Ha, false. Wife just had a baby. I'll be on next tour." He wrote Saturday on Twitter, referring to the New Japan Pro Wrestling's next tour, where he competes as Giant Bernard. When asked about the rumor started, he replied, "Not sure, but it's comical." And both F4W Online and PW Insider reported that this morning that Bloom would resurface next month as a heel after WrestleMania. The Roman show was at the Miami-Dade County Fair again last week for what will be the former FCW show. And they taped an episode last week. And there was 3 stars that were interviewed from the Raw roster, supposedly. Well, Husky Harris hasn't been on there. Well, he was interviewed. Tough Enough Wonder, Kevin Hackman is his real name. For a stage name is Andy Levine. And also Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was interviewed. Happy birthday goes out to Evan Bourne. Turned 29 years old today. Also turning 25 years old on Monday was AJ. Former ECW champion Shane Douglas tried to generate some publicity during Raw for his Extreme Reunion promotion during Monday's WWE show on Raw. Well, I didn't actually see it at all. Douglas was in the crowd wearing a blue mask, briefly, and a white t-shirt. There's video footage as he was standing up during the Big Show versus Kane match and removed a white shirt to reveal his franchise t-shirt, but I only saw a black shirt with the yellow writing on it. And then the mask, well, it was reported as a blue mask. Well, if it was blue, it was royal blue, and it was real dark blue. He was obviously escorted off camera by security. WWE officials notified Bright House Network Monday that they have opted to cease their affiliation with Florida Championship Wrestling Sports Network, as they are shutting down Florida Championship Wrestling. Effective immediately, Florida Championship Wrestling programming, which was taped last Thursday in Tampa, Florida, will cease to air on the network in 3 weeks. Everyone involved with Florida Championship Wrestling will relocate to WWE's home base in Stamford, Connecticut, until further decision regarding the developmental program is made. WWE employees were given the impression that a developmental promotion will ultimately open in Connecticut with the possibility of a second at an undetermined location. The promotion was started by former wrestler Steve Karen in 2007 to be WWE's second developmental promotion when they ended their relationship with the Georgia-based Deep South Wrestling in early 2007. It became their sole developmental promotion in early 2008 when they ceased affiliation with Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is now part of TNA training facilities and their indie feds. WWE.com reported that John Cena was involved in a car accident early on Monday, and while on media appearance in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, there were no apparent injuries reported at the time. But there was supposed to be a dark match, so I guess that match was canceled as he was supposed to tag team with CM Punk, as I will discuss that later in this report. Well, he was rear-ended by a tractor trailer, but there was 3 cars involved. The more damage was done to a reddish burgundy. I forgot what the report was, but anyways, it was a 3-car accident. Cena was driving a black SUV. Police arrived to the scene, and no immediate injuries were reported. The Twitter account of WWE Insider account today says there were rumors surrounding Cena's condition. He might have a possible neck injury, and the WWE Insider account tweeted on Monday afternoon, rumors surround at John Cena following his car accident today. He is fine. Others say he was holding his neck when he arrived at Raw, which was trending worldwide. TMZ had photos of the scene as they showed the Honda Civic, and what was reported as a tractor trailer ended up to be a dump truck. But there was a tractor trailer that was shown in another photo. I guess it was ongoing traffic, so it's not indicated which cars were involved in the incident. So take it from your own perspective. Go to TMZ for the incident, and it's under John Cena's accident. Okay? Okay? The story states that Cena's SUV was actually struck by a Honda Civic, which the Honda Civic was struck behind from either dump truck or the tractor trailer. And like I said, you can view the photos on TMZ.com. Wrestling Figures reports that former wrestler Tugboat and Typhoon will appear at Downsview Park Farmers and Merchant Market at 40 Carl Hall Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, on Saturday, March 31st, one day prior to WrestleMania, from noon to 3 p.m. You can call area code 226-600-4351 or area code 416-638-2525 for more info. A friend of mine was asking, what was have I heard about Tugboat? I thought he had passed away several years ago myself. Well, he just resurfaced, and now we know the rest of the story. Alberto Del Rio returned to action at Madison Square Garden yesterday and beat Mason Ryan in a quick match. WWE is still protecting Del Rio, so it sounds like he's not 100%. If you didn't know, he's still supporting that groin injury. Okay, advertised locally for tonight's dark match was supposedly John Cena and CM Punk versus Chris Jericho and Kane. Several SmackDown stars was advertised for tonight's show. So far, no dark match will happen except for Rock segment later on, which you'll find out. And The Miz, just like he did on TV. Well, WWE announced on Raw tonight that rapper Flo Rida will be performing live with The Rock at WrestleMania 28. Flo Rida, what a name. Doesn't it remind you, if you put them together, it's Florida. Thus, WrestleMania is in Miami, Florida. As noted earlier, Machine Gun Kelly will also be performing for John Cena. So, will they have a concert before each of their entrances? Well, we'll have to wait and see for WrestleMania. Mark Gessner and Agazi Jagoras were at the Raw show in Philadelphia and sent the following spoilers for tonight's dark match. Brodus Clay defeated Michael McGillicuddy. Clay won a 2-minute squash match. Superstars taping Epico and Primo with Rosa Mendez defeated the tag team name on that A-Rye chose was called A Ryan, thus the name A-Rye. And Mason Ryan, if you get it. Anyways. The tag champs won with a double backstabber on Ryan in about 10-minute match. Riley worked the entire match until making a hot tag to Mason Ryan at about the 8-minute time frame, and thus got the loss. Match number 2 from the Raw version. Beth Phoenix and Eve defeated Natalya and Tamina. Well, I guess the Divas of Destruction are no longer a team. Eve pinned Tamina. A loud Hosky chant in the crowd with a ton of heat for Eve. And they said that the crowd should come live and real loud on TV. Okay, Raw Super Show kicks off on the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And by the way, Madison Square Garden, also Triple H returned to action, a 6-man tag. There was a video, but the video stops at 32 seconds. And you don't get to see, and they showed the actual what happened after the 2 spine busters that were delivered. And then what happened on Raw, they showed from the house show. Also, Mick Foley was there with his family. And back to the Raw events. Michael Cole welcomes us as Jerry Lawler hypes the in-ring confrontation between Undertaker, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Cole talks about John Cena versus Mark Henry as well as The Rock appearing. We go to the ring. Out comes the champion CM Punk for his little speech. Punk tells everyone that Chris Jericho isn't here tonight. Punk says Jericho is pissed off. Has Jericho pissed him off last week. Punk starts to bring up his father and how Jericho said that he was an alcoholic. Punk says that that's not Jericho's story to tell or any of his business. Punk says here he is, naked under a microscope for the whole world to see. Punk says Jericho is trying to get in his head for some kind of advantage going into WrestleMania. Punk then says if there is a monster inside of him, he's going to let that monster out at WrestleMania. Punk refuses to let his past dictate his future. Punk says nobody should let a past nightmare cloud their future dreams. Punk says Jericho forgot to tell you that his father has worked hard and overcame his addiction. Punk says that he is proud of his father. Punk is proud that says he's straight edge. It's tattooed on his skin for a reason. It's what he believes. Punk says Jericho is just an obstacle, and he's going to straight that obstacle out through him at WrestleMania to prove once and for all he's the best in the world. Punk then drops the mic as his music hits, and Jericho appears on the big screen via satellite backstage. Jericho says he was out of line for what he said last week. Jericho says that this is Chris talking to him. No fancy jackets or anything. Jericho apologizes again for bringing up Punk's father last week. He hopes Punk will accept the apology. Jericho promises he will never say anything about Punk's father on this show. However, Punk's sister is a whole other ball game. Well, Jericho says Punk's sister has a history of substance abuse and will do anything to get her fixed. Jericho says it's inevitable that Punk ends up like his father and his sister. Jericho says Punk is going to drink. When Jericho beats Punk at WrestleMania, that's something he will never be able to overcome. Punk is pissed now. He says something that's bleeped out by the censors. How can you bleep out a live show? Yeah, I guess it was taped instead. Punk calls Jericho some form of shit and then says that what he's going to beat out of him. Punk drops the mic and walks off, staring up at the big screen. Then we see Big Show and Kane headed out in a split screen as they go to commercial. Next up was Kane versus Big Show. Back from the break, Kane is making his entrance. Out next comes Big Show. Before the match begins, out comes Intercontinental Champion Cody Rhodes. Cody heads down for the commentary, but has a video shown that mocks Big Show's WrestleMania history. Cody doesn't join commentary, but mocks Show and watches from ringside. Kane and Show go at it. Show takes it to the corner to start. Show ends up taking control and going to the second rope. Cody gets on the apron and distracts him. Show shows Cody off the apron to the floor and gets caught with a choke slam from Kane for the win. Winner of the match, Kane. After the match, Cody comes in the ring and gets laid and lays Show out with a beautiful disaster. Cody continues to attack and grabs a pair of handcuffs. I guess they must be oversized. Cody cuffs Show to the ropes, one hand on one, and twists us up on the other rope so he can't get loose. Cody brings a pair of boxing gloves in the ring to reenact the WrestleMania beating from Floyd Mayweather. As Show is selling the punches and what have you, Cody punches Show with the gloves and stops away on him. Officials try to stop Cody, but he bounces around Show. Show is pissed as he's still cuffed to the ropes. Show tells Cody to run. Then they cut the cuffs off as Cody leads up the ramp, tries to get to his feet, but falls. We go to replays with Show trying to regain his composure as they go to commercial break. They still had Cena versus Mark Henry for later on, and they go back to commercial. Next up was David Otunga versus Santino Marella. Stupid match. Back from the break, out first comes David Otunga with John Laryngitis, with the WWE United States Champion Santino Marella. He comes out next, and Teddy Long is with him. Santino and Otunga has a pose contest, similar to the Rick Rude and versus Ultimate Warrior. And of course, Otunga beats Santino down, and here we go. Santino is like, he goes to do a muscular pose after like the fifth or sixth pose. Acts like he's injured his knee, and then Otunga hits him in the back. Santino makes a comeback, hip tosses Otunga, does his normal routine little thing, drops his headbutt, pulls out the Cobra. Laurinaitis and Teddy have words at ringside. Santino stomps on Laurinaitis' cell phone because Laurinaitis was on the apron. And the cell phone gets on in the ring. Well, that's the distraction. And Santino is stomping on the cell phone. Otunga he turns around and Otunga nails his spine buster finisher. Up next is The Rock. And he's got a message for John Cena. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and The Rock is out in the city of Philadelphia in front of the Rocky statue. Rock talks about how he's witnessed several big WrestleMania moments as a kid, and then headlining the big show himself in Philadelphia against Stone Cold Steve Austin, and losing to him in the first match. The Rock then talks about John Cena, and then he's headed back to the arena here soon. Rock throws in stopping for a cheesecake and turns it sideways before shoving up Cena's ass. The Rock goes on with a long promo and walks off to make his way to the building. Daniel Bryan versus Zack Ryder was up next. And we go to the ring, and out comes World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan with AJ at his side. His opponent will be Zack Ryder right after commercial. Back from the break, out comes Zack Ryder to a nice reaction from the crowd. Then they show footage from Ryder's rally in the parking lot earlier. Very similar to, what's his face, Ted DiBiase's posse party. The bell rings and they lock up. Ryder takes Bryan down first, gets caught with a big knee to the head and gut. And then a kick to the back. Bryan drops a knee and stomps away. Ryder makes a comeback and drops Bryan in the corner. He hits a running boot in the corner, but Bryan blocks the Rough Rider and turns it into the LeBell Lock for the win. Next match was John Cena versus Mark Henry. Back from the commercial, and out comes John Cena to announce that rapper Flo Rida will perform live at WrestleMania 28. Mark Henry comes out next. They lock up, and Henry shoves Cena to the mat. Henry keeps in control of Cena and beats him around the ring and out to the floor as they go back to the commercial. And I thought they were supposed to be taking it easy on John Cena. Well, Mark Henry throws him real hard into the barricade right before they go to commercial, which I was going to guess is that's a good time for the commercial break. Back from the break, Cena has Henry back in the ring, so I guess he's reversed some moves. Henry levels Cena with a clothesline and drops for a big splash for a 2 count. Henry continued to control the match until Cena moves from the corner. Cena managed to hit a side suplex on Henry and then 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena goes for attitude adjustment, but can't get Henry up. Cena countered the world's strongest slam and then hits the attitude adjustment for the win. After the match, as Mark Henry's getting up, Rock's music hits, and out he comes. Rock rushes the ring, lays out Henry with a rock bottom. Right in front of Cena. Cena's still groggy, and he's trying to get his sand back up. Well, this was Rock's way of sending Cena a message. Rock quickly marches to the back as we go to replays. Then Michael Cole showed us footage from 2 weeks ago where Shawn Michaels was named the special referee for the Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28. Confrontation is still to come tonight. Back to commercial. Then they come back from the commercial and they get the Divas on Extra from last week. Miz is in the ring. He wants to be on Team Laurinaitis at WrestleMania 28. He's arranged a challenge match to prove he should be on the team. Music interrupts and out comes Sheamus again. Same results as last week. Sheamus wins. Bell rings and they go right at it. Miz kicks Sheamus in the head, but gets dropped with a big right hand. Miz hits Sheamus with an elbow and kicks his knee out. Sheamus counters with a DDT and hits the Celtic Cross for the quick 2 count. We see David Otunga, John Laurinaitis watching backstage. Sheamus takes Miz to the corner. Miz turns things around and hits the backbreaker and a neckbreaker combo for 1 count for Miz. Miz takes Sheamus to the mat now. Sheamus fights out and beats Miz down in the corner as the referee counts. Sheamus with a big power slam and another 2. Sheamus ends up hitting the Brogue Kick for the win. Replay of the CM Punk and Chris Jericho's exchange from earlier to start the show. Randy Orton came out, cut a promo on Kane for WrestleMania 28. Not much there. He says, "My name is Randy Orton," and then the crowd erupted. Vicky Guerrero came out and introduced Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger as the 2 newest members of Team Laryngitis at WrestleMania, and then you go to commercial. Dolph and Jack Swagger versus Kofi and R-Truth. This was actually a decent match until Vicky got involved for the finish. Back for the break, and both teams were going at it. Swagger and Ziggler got Kofi in the corner and double team him with cheap shots. Then came when Ziggler hits the leg drop on R-Truth. R-Truth put his foot on the rope. Vicky took his foot off the rope and put Dolph's foot on the rope for the cheated leverage pin. After the match, Vicky and Oksana brawled. Up next was a confrontation with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker in the Raw tonight. Back from the break, and out comes Shawn Michaels first. He talks about stealing the show at WrestleMania and says it's pretty cool knowing that he holds the end of an era in the palm of his hand. Hey, Steve Hardy. He's the wrestling god. Well, Shawn says he's a wrestling guy because he controls it right in his hands. Okay, back to the last conversation. Okay, Shawn goes on, and then is interrupted by Undertaker's big entrance. The longest ever wrestler entrance in the history of professional wrestling. Taker comes out and tells Shawn that he did enough talking last week, so he should shut up now. Taker talks about his match. Needs to be fair. He is interrupted by Triple H's music, and out comes the game. So it's time to play the mind game. Triple H says Taker should stop worrying about Shawn because it's not about him. Triple H points out that he and Taker have been in 19 out of 24 Hell in a Cell matches, which Triple H actually botched that little segment. He started to say something else, and he hesitated and said 4. It's like, okay, he didn't know if it was 24 or 25. Hell in a Cell matches. Triple H then says the Cell is where he thrives and excels. Triple H says the whole world is going to see the end of an era. Taker's. Taker asks Triple H if he's willing to put it all on the line. His career, his wife, his kids, everything. Yes, if it means giving Taker the end, so he richly deserves. Taker and Triple H come to face at WrestleMania. Taker goes to leave the ring as Shawn and Triple H look on. Taker turns around and asks Triple H, as he hesitates, if he asks Triple H remembers when he said Shawn was better than the 2. Taker hesitates, and then Shawn is better again and leaves the ring as his music hits, but that's not actually what he said. He actually said that he is. Shawn and Triple H stare each other down as Raw basically ends at that point, and they both look up to Taker as Raw goes off the air. Now, what happened after Raw went off the air? There was no advertised dark match. So one report says The Miz came back out and started ranting about how he's not on WrestleMania and wants a match. He ran down all the Philly sports teams. The Rock eventually came out and pointed out members of the Philadelphia Eagles who were sitting in the front row, which they did not even say anything on Raw about like they normally do. The Miz told The Rock that he wanted to be in his corner for WrestleMania. The crowd broke out in a loud Rocky and People's Elbow chants. The Miz offered his hand for a handshake, to which The Rock accepted. Rock then hit the rock bottom and People's Elbow chant to send the crowd home happy. And that's my Raw and Superstars results for this week. Stay tuned for TNA later on, probably tomorrow. And also SmackDown, Superstars, NXT, yada, 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 whatever else news I can find. Thank you and peace out. God bless.